So these hullheads sit around in circles and try to invite profit into their life? I hope they get eaten by rats.
About time somebody came the hell back. I notice you're not spattered in blood, which doesn't bode particularly well. For you. I hope you're not about to tell me you lost your nerve. Oh? I thought for sure with your armaments that you'd be with the other hunters. Pardon my tomfoolery, stranger. I see I've mistaken you for someone else. Victoria Foxworth, Rizzo's executive clerical actuator. Pleased to meet you. Might I ask what brings you to the reserve? A professional, I see. I don't know anything about any murder, but you might be just who I'm looking for. There's a particular task that my hunters haven't yet been capable enough to complete. I wonder if you'd have any interest in it. As you may be aware, Slug currently owns the reserve, but it rightfully belongs to Rizzo's. There's an ex-Rizzo's employee currently in possession of the land grant for the entire complex. Insult to injury from Slug, and evidence that this complex is rightfully ours. This particular individual is up there in years. His mind is failing. Leaving the land grant to him is like leaving it in the trash. I would like you to retrieve it. You mean you don't know the story? This atmospheric complex was first annexed by Rizzo's. We'd planned a lovely wildlife-themed attraction to be built here. Alas. Due to some backhanded and admittedly shrewd legal footwork on Slug's part, Rizzo's ownership of the complex was lost. Now we rent it from Slug. I seek only to have what was stolen returned to us. I would have thought so too, but I sent my scouts out ages ago and none have yet returned. The old man's certainly too senile to be a threat, but it's possible Slug put him under guard. You're not recognizably with Rizzo's. Thus, it shall be easier for you to get close. Solve the situation however you like, so long as you bring me the land grant. The target in question lives out in the woods, exactly where I'm not certain. Best of luck.
Hello! Welcome to the Prophet of Profitability's Private Prosperity Retreat. Stay positive, and soon all your humors will be balanced. Least, that's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, I'm Aaliyah Mason. I work as the Prophet's right-hand woman. What can I do for you? If you felt imbalanced and unproductive, linger in your malaise no longer. We have all the amenities and practices for calming the ill humors strangling your potential. Sit for hours in our sweat house and sweat them out, or stand amidst burning coals and feel your productive inhibitions burn away. And remember, think positive. Positivity equals productivity equals profitability. Of course, I've been studying under her for years. I know each of her techniques more or less by heart, and even have some variations of my own, such as the quintuple daily stomach purges. She's promised me that I'd be allowed to open my own branch of the retreat someday soon. Of course, I've been waiting on someday soon for coming up on 4 years now. I'm sure it's gonna happen anytime now. Oh, terribly sorry if I gave you that impression. I had a cramp. It's better now. I mean, it might be nice if I had a little inclination of whether the Prophet appreciated all the cooking and cleaning and hours of meditation I do on a daily basis. But whatever she thinks isn't for me to question. I'll do my best to be more chipper. Oh my. Yes, this is important enough for me to delay my bi-hourly self-flagellation. Ask away. Yes, the circumstances there are quite unfortunate. For a time, the Prophet was completely despondent. Even the hot coal walks weren't buoying her spirits as they usually do. However, we recently had a high-profile visitor whose presence seemed to alleviate whatever the Prophet's fears were. I'm actually not entirely certain. It was a surreptitious visit that stood out because it was surreptitious. Whoever it was must have paid the Prophet quite a lot to keep things quiet. At least that's the only reason I can think of for intentionally keeping things so hush-hush. Well, by and large, no. But something rather odd did happen regarding the Prophet recently. A few hours after our high-profile visitor arrived a couple of days ago, the Prophet asked me to take over sessions for the remainder of the day. At first, I was excited. Thought it was my chance to show her what I could do in charge. But then I saw that she was deeply worried about something. No one saw her until the next day. I was here at the retreat in the company of the other disciples and clients. I rarely have more than a few minutes of alone time. Which is fine, of course. I do what I do in the service of the Prophet, who will, I'm sure, reward me for my sacrifice. Eventually. Certainly. Actually, before you go, I want to report something suspicious. I noticed the Prophet dragging something, a bundle, away from the retreat after that high-profile guest arrived. Normally, I'm the one who does her laundry, so it was strange. Especially because whatever she was dragging seemed oddly human-shaped. I think so. Had the right size and shape. I could have, but I generally don't have the time or energy to leave the reserve to contact anyone. Plus, there's always the possibility that I'm mistaken. The Prophet hasn't been herself lately, but if I misinterpreted the situation and reported her improperly, I'd ruin my chances for opening my own wing of the retreat.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Identifying human footprints leading out into the wilderness. It is unusual for productivity disciples to wander more than a few feet from the camp. Scanning. No. No traces of aether dust, blood, or dimethyl sulfoxide found. Judging by footprint depressions and shoe size, these prints were either made by the Prophet of Profitability or Adjutant Sophia Akande. Error. Recalibrating. These footprints were made by the Prophet of Profitability. Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Detected additional tracks belonging to the Prophet of Profitability. timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Judging by the shape of this indentation in the dirt, a person of medium height and build laid here for a number of hours, scanning for other details. Only additional signs of disturbance are a few marks in the dirt. No sign of struggle or evidence of wildlife consumption of body. Suspected likelihood of user correctness, 86%.
She said I must burn away the old me in order to be transformed. It's not good enough to be better than everyone. I need to believe I'm better than everyone.
Fruitful and productive welcome, brother. I had a feeling you would visit me. I offer a wide variety of productivity seminars. I hope you'll consider taking one. But I should remember my manners. To what do I owe the pleasure of the Special Inspector's arrival? My disciples come to and from the Grand Colonial, bringing supplies and information. Knowing what happens at the hotel affects my livelihood, after all. With that said, I'd love to involve you in one of my productivity seminars. We should clear you of all those nasty, nasty humors hampering your potential. As science has taught us, the body is made up of two things, flesh and humors. These humors are semi-fluids that, when improperly balanced, may cause you to function inadequately. By signing up for my seminars, You can balance these humors for only mildly inordinate and repeat payments. Cancellation is subject to repercussions. Nothing you need concern yourself with, brother. It's all in the contracts. But of course, no one need subject themselves to such repercussions if they don't cancel. Regardless, can I interest you in a seminar? We offer a wide variety of seminars for all your corporate needs. Employees not working hard enough? Employees dying too often? It's most likely your managerial humors. And of course, seminars for balancing the energies of your business offices. Interior decorating is much more important for success than many would believe. If any of this sounds at all interesting to you, might I interest you in the first 82 words of our most popular seminar's introduction? Free of charge. Byzantines live lives fraught with competition, and that competition can be immensely stressful. You must, first of all, find a way to balance your thinking. Think not of bits lost, but of those you have yet to gain. After all, peace leads to productivity, and productivity leads to profit. Though thought alone won't balance you. We have a strict regimen to promote humor clearing. Session attendees stand on burning coals, sit for hours in our productivity smokehouse, and of course, fast throughout. Precisely. The barriers within yourself will break down as your skin sweats and blisters, giving the evil humors the proper space to escape. It's my patented method. Yes, that's correct. She made it clear that my seminars were of no interest to her. Your tone of voice seems to suggest that you have information already, which also suggests you've read my terminal. Whatever the case, I didn't care to mention Helen's change in decision because she never showed up. I don't see how it matters. Oh, really? What did you find there? What did I dump? No, I think you're mistaken. There was nothing there, I suspect, and without evidence, I don't expect to be accosted further. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother. How might I assist? Who said that? I'll be sure to give them a special seminar on not needlessly implicating the person who puts food on their table. It was a bundle of clothing, brother. Even productivity geniuses need to do laundry from time to time. Yes. I suppose the more quickly we get off this subject, the better. I had a visitor, yes, but as it turned out, some of my productivity techniques were too much for them. I had to drag them out by hand. But their peers came and collected them shortly thereafter. I'm sure whichever attendee it was is perfectly safe now. Oh? I'm surprised. I wouldn't think the two of us would have much to discuss about her. We may have had some terse interactions before her death, which I most certainly regret. But beyond those, well, never mind. What would you care to know? I did not. She had no interest in my seminars, and I had no interest in attempting to convert a stubborn actress. Why would I have had any cause to engage with her further? Your tone of voice seems to suggest that you have information already, which also suggests you've read my terminal. Whatever the case, I didn't care to mention Helen's change in decision because she never showed up. I don't see how it matters. Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my desire to... Yes. I suppose we can talk about her. What would you... I wouldn't necessarily say that. The media tends to exaggerate. I will admit that her remarks about my seminars were rather unfortunate. However, I certainly wouldn't sharpen any sabers over it, if that's what you mean to imply. I only do that when my clients skimp on their bills. I wouldn't necessarily say that. The media tends to exaggerate. I will admit that her remarks about... However, I certainly wouldn't... Why, I've been at the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve for quite some time now, as my disciples can attest. In fact, I haven't visited the Colonials since I arrived several weeks ago. Bad energies, you understand. I hope you now realize that I had nothing to do with Helen's demise.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Analysis suggests this to be a variety of herbs. Herbs have been uniformly treated with a pungent chemical mix. Warning: ingesting, smoking, or inserting non-corporation sanctioned substances into your ears may be harmful to your health. Prior analysis suggests these herbs reach peak effectiveness when users burn them and inhale the resulting smoke. Whether or not this increased effectiveness is good for an afflicted individual has yet to be determined. Analyzing. Complete. Substance appears to be a mix of industrial solvents and various essential oils. Substances include woolly cow dander remover, sprat oil, and starship surface wax. Hypothesizing potential side effects from herb consumption. Most likely outcome, decapitation. Slight possibility of calculation error.
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend... I'm pleased that you noticed. Excellent eye, brother. The compound they're treated with is my own invention, designed to unlock an individual's true productive potential when burned. I can't say any more. Trade secrets, you know. Clever work, Inspector. It seems even I can't slide my way out of the trap you've so intricately weaved. I admit it. I killed Helen. By mistake. Helen changed her mind and wanted to attend one of my sessions. I, knowing the importance of the seminar, desired to truly galvanize her. though not to stop her heart. So when it came time, I chose to double Helen's dosage of productivity-enhancing herbs. I left her to meditate, and when I returned, she was dead. After that, I entered a less than coherent state. One of my disciples, it seems, witnessed me as I dragged Helen's body out into the wilderness. Laws, no. I hate guns. If I ever wanted to kill someone on purpose, I would have used a blunt weapon. Nothing quite like clubbing someone over the head. Do you jest? The guests at the Colonial eat no shortage of strange things, but I think corpses are perhaps too strange. The creatures of the wilderness are much less picky. Besides, the hotel is ridiculously far. I couldn't have made it all that way without someone realizing I was dragging a corpse. I'm no medical professional, but that certainly seemed the case. Usually my customers at least writhe or mumble after a session. My productivity-enhancing herbs typically do induce sluggishness, but I suppose they must have been enough to do her in if her constitution was truly that weak. What? Is this some kind of joke? You're an inspector. It's your job to arrest me, isn't it? I don't believe you. I think this is all a trick. You're trying to catch me in a lie. Get me to reveal my productivity secrets. No. Someone must have moved it after I killed her. One of my business rivals, waiting for me to fall into a false sense of security so they can strike. No. You can't trick me. I finally discovered what's happening. You've been paid off. Someone else learned that I killed Helen, and is going to use that information to blackmail me. You think I'm going to let this injustice happen? Ha! Tell the constable that I killed Helen. It's 1,000 times less miserable than whatever my enemies have planned. Fine. It doesn't matter. Take your money. I hope to find myself in a cozy cell by the end of today. They won't get me if I'm safe in prison.
Inspector? Ms. Leva earned that title, but not for the reasons you'd expect. The profit business has been profitable for the hotel. Not so much for Ms. Leva's followers. So, tell me, what did you find? She wants to be arrested. That's not the kind of behavior I expect from a suspect. Perhaps she's carrying a guilty conscience. Does the Prophet strike you as a reasonable candidate for Helen's murderer? I'll bear that in mind. Thank you for the update, Inspector. I'll include everything you've told me in my official report.
Aha! Always so nice to hear you, Inspector. I'll get you to your floor on the double.
Caliban the Heartless? That's not foreboding at all.
I don't know what it is you're looking for, stranger, but I reckon you better get. I've had about enough of you and your ilk coming by with your searching questions and expectant looks. I know you with those void-damned hunters, and I know what you want. Well, you ain't getting it. Oh, please. Don't insult my dang intellect, stranger. Nobody ever visits just because they want to gab with old Cyrus. No, they either want to poach me out of my land or poach me out of my best friend. Ha! No, Kelly ain't no toss baller, though. I reckon she could put the toughest players to shame. It's good having someone like that around. She ain't the brightest bulb, but... can't say I'd have much reason sticking it out in this wilderness without her. Damn straight there are. Wish I could go show 'em what for, but... I'm old, and I gotta make sure I don't get Callie into no trouble. Two of us have lived on the reserve for years. Every so often, someone comes by trying to steal our land grant and evict us. We hold our own, but... it's mighty agitating. And do what? Go back to Rizzo's? I defected years ago. Only thing to look forward to would be a summary execution. And I don't reckon Callie'd have much interest either. Nope. Out here's where we're meant to be. Ah, I knew it! You'd quit asking if you know what's good for you. I ain't took orders since my time as a Rizzo's man. I ain't gonna start now. Carl! Come here!
I didn't know primals could be pets. This changes everything.
Now, what is it you were saying? Oh, sure, it'll be fine until the zoners come looking for somewhere to put a new candy refinery and find an old man and his primals squatting on their land. Oh, hell. I can see when I'm beat. Fine, then. I just hope that whoever ends up in control of the reserve takes a while divvying things up. I guess the grant to the land complex is yours, stranger. And I guess our business is complete.
got it! Wonder why.
You return. I hope you bring news. Oh, thank the law. And you brought the land deed. To say you were more capable than the hunters I hired would be a vast understatement. I hope there were no complications. A giant primal? As a guard? Please don't make me laugh. No one tames primals, let alone senile old men. I'm sure there was, sweetie. Rizzo's thanks you for your efforts to allow us to regain what is rightfully ours. Here is your reward.